2 suitcases got me through my first move, and 1 suitcase and a car got me through the next one. For about 6 months, I lived between short-term places, sometimes at a B&B, sometimes a pension, because I couldn't get a rental contract. And I want to be honest with you about what that was actually like. It wasn't just logistically hard, it was the kind of tired that doesn't come from staying late. It comes from never being able to fully put your back down. That period gave me a rule I still use professionally, which is when one dependency can break your plan, you don't have a plan, you have a gamble. Welcome to Critical Flow. Today we are launching the leadership pillar, but not in a motivational way, more in a practical way, how to operate when conditions are uncertain and stability is not available on demand. And this is also not a biography. I will use one real situation as a case study and then share 3 takeaways with tools you can actually use in professional settings and also in life. Uncertainty doesn't disappear, it just gets managed. And what helped me wasn't having more confidence, it was having a simple operating model, something I could do when I didn't have the perfect information. And the goal was never to eliminate the uncertainty, it was to stop letting it make decisions for me. I grew up in Tabascan, a small village close to France in the Pyrenees. In a small place, stability is built into the environment, routines, familiarity, people who know you. You don't think about it, it's just there. Then I moved to Barcelona and I felt the first version of starting from zero. You can be surrounded by people and still have no absolute network. Later I moved within Spain, 2 suitcases, a pension for about a week, then an apartment. Uncertainty, yes, but it resolved quickly. The bigger constraint came later. Months where long-term housing simply wasn't available to me. Week-to-week bookings, sometimes 3 days here, 2 days in a pension, then 5 days somewhere else. Weekends flying home to see my parents. A car parked at the airport. 2 suitcases as my permanent address. And the thing nobody tells you is that the hard part isn't the inconvenience, it's the decision fatigue. Every few days your brain is solving housing logistics again and again, while you are also trying to do your job, maintain your relationships and stay functional. That's what this episode is really about, how to keep functioning when the environment won't stabilize. 3 takeaways, each comes with a tool you can try. Takeaway 1 is about risk. Takeaway 2 is about decisions. And takeaway 3 is about the steadiness because your decision quality depends on it. And I'm not presenting this as a universal truth or answer. It's just an operating model that helped me and that I still use professionally when projects get messy. In uncertainty, I stopped chasing certainty and I started building options. Because if the whole plan depends on one thing working, one approval, one resource, one supplier or a stakeholder, then you are running a single point of failure. That's what I mean by the gamble line. In those 6 months, my option A was always find a stable place. But option A kept failing. What saved me wasn't optimism, it was having option B and C already named before I needed them. For anything critical, keep option A, the preferred path, option B, a realistic alternative, and option C, a survival path that still creates progress. Red flag, if you cannot say your option B in one sentence, you're probably gambling without noticing. Here's how these show up in canyon exploration. We don't just go. The first trip is always reconnaissance, check access, identify escape routes, confirm whether there is a safe exit possible or not. That's option B and C before you commit. Only after that, we do the plan of the real attempt. In project terms, if option A depends on one approval, option B could be a partial delivery that avoids that dependency. Option C could be a real scope, so you still ship value even if the dependency fails. This tool doesn't remove uncertainty, it just stops uncertainty from freezing you. So decisions got easier when I separated them by horizon. In unstable conditions, it's easy to try to make 30-day decisions with 48-hour information and then get stuck or keep reopening the same discussion. I remember sitting in a pension room trying to figure out my entire housing plan for the next 3 months. I had almost no information. I spent 2 hours going in circles and made nothing. When I finally stopped trying to solve 3 months and I just asked myself, what do I actually know enough to decide right now? It took 20 minutes. 48 hours, reversible decisions, decide fast. 7 days, execution plan, align, schedule, communicate. 30 days, bigger bets. Validate assumptions, keep contingencies. And a small addition that helps a lot. Boundaries create speed. Pick 3 things that must stay true. Everything else becomes flexible. Mine during those 6 months, it was staying connected with my family, protect my output, and keep one physical routine. Everything else was negotiable. It sounds simple, yes, but when you are making decisions under fatigue, knowing your 3 fixed points stops the endless loop of, but what if I should also? And at work, those boundaries might be compliance and safety, transparency on decision ownership, minimum viable quality, whatever they are, write them down. This reduces the rework. Stability is not something you wait for, it's something you produce. And I don't mean manifestation, and I mean when the environment is unstable, your nervous system takes a hit. And if you don't protect your baseline, your decisions get worse and worse. You rush, you avoid, you over-control, and you lose clarity. There was a point in those 6 months where I noticed I was making small errors I don't usually make. I missed a call, forgot to follow up on something, nothing catastrophic, but it was a signal. My baseline had degraded, and the decisions I was making were reflecting that. So I built a very simple structure to get back on track. First, one routine you control, a structure, a sleep, movement. 2, one human connection, even brief but real. 3, one deliverable, close a loop, ship something small. 4, one recovery action, silence, natural reflection. For me, the human connection was often a call with my parents. The routine was movement, even if it just was a short walk. The recovery was finding somewhere quiet near water or trees, which in some cities really was difficult, but I made it non-negotiable. It's basic, but it keeps your decision quality stable when the environment won't. One mistake I made at the start was a simple assumption. I thought that having a contract meant I could rent an apartment. I didn't realize how often there is an informal minimum timeline built into the system, even when it's not written anywhere. I also assumed short-term rentals would be easy to chain together. In reality, it was week to week, sometimes 3 days, then 2 days in a pension, then back to 5 days somewhere else. At the weekends flying home, the car parked at the airport, 2 suitcases moving with me, and suddenly the real constraint was not my motivation or my capability. It was just logistics and decision fatigue. That's exactly when these tools matters, not when things are going well. When your tank is running low and you still have no decisions to make. Professionally, this is why these tools translate so well. A lot of modern work runs on unstable inputs, especially across countries and functions. Changing priorities, dependencies you don't control, or deadlines that don't move. And the goal is not to eliminate uncertainty, it's to manage it in a way that keeps execution clean. And the people I've seen do this best aren't the ones who stay calm because nothing affects them. They are the ones who build systems so that when something affects them, they already know what to do next. If you want a practical exercise to try today, here is a 5-minute stability sprint. First, name the gamble. What single dependency could break my plan this week? 2, write option B and C, 2 real alternatives that still create progress. 3, pick 3 non-negotiables. What must stay true no matter what? 4, decide the next 48 hours. 2 actions you will do even if nothing else changes. That's it. Next episode we launch the technical pillar, why the interface is the new perimeter, how control loops break, and how trust fails quietly in autonomous systems. If you want the stability sprint as a written template, I will include it in the next newsletter. And See you in the flow.